pass to Johnson. Johnson still going. Dummies again. Johnson into the one to Brown. Brown goes in to score.
Oh, he's serving it down the touchline. Oh, this is unbelievable. They're gonna win it. Oh, what scenes here, what scenes. LeBron James, a shot at history. LeBron stands alone. The NBA's all-time scoring record now belongs to LeBron James.
All right, let's rip in. Surly Talk Sports back in the saddle for another week for your Thursday morning. Plenty of boxes to tick today as well. We've got a shit ton to cover. We're joined by the great man, Navajo Stirling, off the back of his big win at UFC 315. So looking forward to that conversation. We've got the Warriors. They're coming in second. Let's recap that roller coaster of a performance against the Dragons and just celebrate the boys, because shit are they playing tough, gritty code at the moment. With the Chiefs beating the Crusaders, the Blues keeping their hopes of playing finals footy alive. They've got a mouth-watering clash with Moana this weekend, so looking forward to previewing that. We had Ryan Fox win on the PGA Tour, got the NBA Finals. The world of sport is treating us at the moment in a major way. It's almost hard to keep up with everything. Of course, the TAB, we'll talk some punting as well, thanks to them and the exclusive podcast code. She's back this week. We had a little bit of a sabbatical last weekend, didn't dish out any codes, but we're back this week, and the code is Surly. So place a first, second or third try scorer bet on any NRL game this week after you've typed in the code Surly. And if your player doesn't score first, second or third, if your bet loses, you'll get your money back up to $20 in bonus cash. That's limited to one bet per customer as well. So use it smartly. Again, the code is Surly. Place the first, second or third try scorer bet on any of the action this weekend, and you are good to go. But without further ado, let's rip into this convo with the great man, Navajo Stirling, fresh off his win at UFC 315. How bloody good. Right, from getting his hand raised on the weekend to on the pod on a Wednesday arvo, Navajo, bro, appreciate you for jumping on. UFC 315, a heck of a card. Your fights aside, how was Canada, bro, and that experience of hitting another country?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, bro. Like Montreal's like a big set of fans. Like they love the sport. I think they hadn't been there since GSP was fighting. So, yeah, they were excited to have like UFC back in there, and then like it was cool because I think the crowd kind of gravitated towards me. Just when I got to the arena, and like I wasn't like sightseeing as much. I was just there for business, bro. But no, it was pretty cool, bro. It's mean to travel and fight, and travel the world for your lifestyle is amazing.
Oh, hard, living the dream. It seems like a whirlwind trip, man. Like, how long were you there before the fight? And do you normally leave pretty much the day after or a couple days after?
Yeah, I'm a homebody, bro. So I went like Sunday, New Zealand, and got there probably Sunday night, Canadian time. And then, I'm always like, as soon as I fought, bro, I just want to get the hell out of there. I want to go home. I just miss being in routine and at home and not having to worry about all this, being overseas and stuff. So, as soon as I fight, I always want to come back home.
Nah, fair enough, bro. You got the dub. You're second in the UFC. How much more comfortable did you feel this time around to your first fight? Like, you've done the walk before. You've stepped in the octagon with the bright lights. Did you feel way more at home than your debut fight?
Yeah. All that stuff's behind me now. Like, I'm a UFC fighter, I told myself that even going into the last one, and the more times you can make the walk, the better. And my whole career is going to be cemented in the UFC. So you just got to get used to it. And I'm just happy to feel at home early in my career. It's just like I'm meant to be where I'm meant to be, and I don't feel like bright lights and all that stuff is gonna sway me as much. And because I want to be a championship fighter, and that comes with way more obligations than fighting on the prelims. So that for me, it was easy work. I had less media obligations, even though I still had a lot. It was still less more than usual, and probably by the time we get to the big stage, so it's all good.
What does fight day look like for you, bro? Because obviously you were the start of kind of that main card. What time are you up? Do you have to get to the venue a couple hours before? How does it all
Yeah.
look?
Yeah. You're usually there like about 3 hours before the fight, and then for me, like usually on fight day, especially, I log off my phone, and I'm not really on my phone um, at all through the week, but I just kind of log off and I just get present, bro. Like I don't even listen to music. When see people get like listening to music when they're at the arena, I'm not even doing that. Like I like to just be fully immersed in the environment around me and hearing the noises around and all of that stuff. Like I feel like I don't get that such a sensory overload when it all kind of comes at me. And that's just been a key thing for me to tapping into the zone come fight day. And just like I'm really trying to just get all my calories in, my food in. Like it's mad. Like in the UFC, they got like all the meals prepped for you every day. Rehydration, all of that. Like the whole protocol is set up for you. And then I'll go for a walk, like a decent walk through the early day, just with like I said, no headphones, and just soak in the environment, soak in the people around, and I'll just like I'm real peaceful, and then I go out there and I'm not even thinking about what people are saying online or who's gonna win this or the pressure. It relieves all of that, You're just like you don't even know that world is out there. It's just you and yourself.
No, that's crazy, bro. It's such a mental battle too. But last
Yeah.
time you were on here, bro, you mentioned you were a little bit frustrated with your first fight because your opponent didn't want to stand and bang. This one was a lot more entertaining. You must be happy with the result. And did this play out kind of how you wanted it to?
Yeah, for sure, bro. Um, I knew this guy was gonna be a big puncher, gonna come at me, and he did exactly that. I think he caught me early in the round and busted up my eye. I had to like kind of wipe my eyes out. I was seeing like two of them in there,
Oh,
and then I managed to recover well and then pour it on him later in the round. And it was a good fight because like, bro, this guy had like 3 times the experience that I had. About 19 pro fights, 10 first round finishes, 14 wins. Like, bro, it's an insane record. I had 6 fights. I had the least amount of fights on the whole night on
yeah.
3-on-5. So, and that's like on paper, this guy should have ran through me. I would have looked at the numbers and I would have been like, hold on a minute, this guy hasn't really even fought anyone. This dude is like number one. He was number one in KSW in Croatia and all the big promotions over in Europe. Like his side of the world, they were like they couldn't even see me staying alive at all. Which is for good reason. Like, you look at it on paper, dude should have murked me, but guess what, man? The hype is real. I'm running in on hype. I'm running in on hype and talk, and sometimes that's not enough, but it is enough, man. I got the skills to pay the bills, and I did that. I showed up when you know I needed to. Like I rose to the occasion. That leap from here to like way up there was huge, but I knew I was gonna be. I'm at that level. I know I'm at that level. My coaches know I'm at that level. It's more so just that inner battle within me to show everyone, and I feel like doing that. I'm happy with it. And I felt like there's still some more small things that I stuffed up that I would like to work on. So don't get me wrong when I say that. Even though I'm happy with the win, I'm not working on all the mistakes I made.
You mentioned he got you a couple times in that first round and you were seeing double. How hard is that to reassess, bro, and then compose yourself and not throw like the full game plan out the window? Like, that's
Yeah,
almost an art in itself, right? Everyone
yeah,
says everyone's got a plan till you get hit. How hard is it to stick to the plan?
yeah, bro. Like when you're getting hit like that, you have to have that poker face and composure, because man, it's easy for them to see the look on your face and then push the gas a lot more. And yeah, he was tagging me up early in that fight, and I just trusted myself, man. Like I've done it so many times before. I've been put in bad moments in the gym and in fights. I just trust in my breathing, trust in the way my mind works and my stamina and everything I train. I'm very good at playing the nail, bro. That's how I'll say it. Everyone is good. A lot of prospects are good when they're the hammer, and this is why I critique like a lot of like MMA prospects. Is just like we only ever see them play the hammer, never the nail. And I think I'm very good at playing the nail. And then when it was my turn to be the hammer, I'm hitting that hard. So yeah, I think it was just one of those moments, and I don't know if a lot of like the real fight fans see that um, as good for my potential, and yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Oh, that's a mean saying, and you certainly became the hammer in those last two rounds,
Yeah,
especially at the end in the third. And I was screaming, bro. I thought you were going to get the stoppage for sure. Were you
yeah,
surprised you didn't get it? And I guess it's a testament to his toughness as
yeah,
well. He didn't give in, eh?
yeah. He buried his head behind under the single like pretty well, and I couldn't hit him. And yeah, just in some of that moment when I watched it back, I wasn't very sharp in the finishing sequence. That's just, yeah, like I said, like a little bit of inexperience on my part. That's something I want to work on, is just being able to close that part out when they're scrambling around like that a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, I went for it, bro. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I was gunning for it, and I was tired, and I pressed the gas, and yeah, made a few mistakes, but we should have gotten the finish. But it's all good. Like as long as I know that, and it was still exciting, so that's cool.
The bro was revving up the fans too with about a minute to go. He went a
Yeah,
little bit early, man. Did that
yeah,
make
yeah,
you want
yeah.
to get the finish even more? Are you like, this guy?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was like, sweet, like let's bite down and throw, and then
Hmm.
I didn't feel many shots coming back my way, so I thought he would open his chin up, and I was like, yeah, sweet, like let's go. I was gonna point at the floor
Hmm.
as well. I was gonna point at the floor, but I was like, man, I'm just smoking like yeah. So it's a mad thing, bro, to do that, to just bite on your mouthpiece and just go, let's have a swing.
Yeah.
So,
How hard is it to stay composed there too, right? Because you're like a bull to a red flag. You're keen
yeah,
as to go, but you
yeah,
also know if you get clocked with one, it can flip
yeah,
pretty quickly. It's dangerous.
yeah. You just go tight, bro. You go tight, tuck your chin, bite on your mouthpiece, and just man, send it, bro. I
Oh,
was
right.
I was thinking, I don't really need to. I don't really need to. Like most of the time, I would never make that mistake of doing that. Like I stay pretty disciplined, but I don't know. I just felt it in that moment. Like no, I'm gonna bite down here.
Well, I'm not sure if you could hear it in the octagon. You kind of alluded to it at the start, though. The Canadian fans were chanting your name, bro. They
Yeah,
were on your side. Like,
yeah,
what do you think makes you a fan favorite? Is it the fact that you're not shy of saying and backing your ability, but then you also back it up in the octagon? Because it's pretty rare. 2 UFC fights, and you're a massive crowd favorite already.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think I always just used to be like, what do I like in a fighter? Like, what do I like in a fighter? Uh, the way they carry themselves, the way they fight, all their skills, the way they look. Like, oh, that's what I like in a fighter, and I just try to be the person that I would aspire to like look up to, or be a fan of.
Mm.
And if I guess I'm doing the right thing, because people are getting behind me, and especially in New Zealand, like I really feel like the Kiwis are right behind me every time I fight, and that's a good thing. That's the main thing. I only care about the Kiwis, like long as my countrymen are behind me, then I don't care if the whole world goes against me. But
Yeah.
I want it real bad, and I think like I got a long way to go. But yeah, people can. I try to say, you can trust in me, man, because I'm gonna get there.
Well, you've had two pretty contrasting fights. Do you feel like that's almost the ideal prep for you now for a third fight? Because you've
Yeah.
had one where an opponent didn't want to swing. You've had one where your opponent tried to knock you out in the first round. Like,
Yeah.
you can take so many learnings from that, right?
Oh yeah, big time, bro. Like those two fights alone were massive for my progression, and because I'm kind of learning on the job here.
Mm.
That was my seventh fight in the UFC. That's some people don't even have that. Prior to like everyone's at like 20 fights.
Yeah.
Like veterans, and I'm just kind of picking it up as I go. But I got the hunger for it, bro. I got the hunger, and I know that like in terms of like my skills are there. My skills are there. The only thing I need is just that time to the walk into the ring. I just gotta keep making those walks to the ring, and I'm just gonna get more and more elite as I go. I'm very good at getting better and itching out the rough edges. And yeah, it's real exciting stuff because I'm looking to jump back in very soon. I've just got some small niggles that I'll probably get sorted in the next week or two. But yeah, you'll definitely see me in maybe like two more times this year.
I was going to ask that around how long it takes you to recover physically and mentally, because it's not just the physical side of things, right?
Yeah.
The build up for a fight is so big mentally. You mentioned a week for the physical side, so you're pretty much almost good to go again.
Yeah, bro. Like I'm very good at managing my body. I know where my body's at its strongest, its weakest, how to recover fast. That camp there was a fat to fit camp. Like I was coming in off the holidays and trying to lose weight during the camp. But now that my body is like already sharp and solid, I have like a very good foundation. I'll be like twice the physical fitter and stronger this next camp, which is what I'm real excited for. And I only got like fat from my last after my last fight was because I couldn't train at all, and I took my basically my first holiday that I'd never of 8 years. I never wanted to go on a holiday until I made it to the UFC, and I told myself I'd go for my first holiday after, even though I didn't really want to. But the hair transplant and all of that kind of like forced me to go on that holiday, and it was a good reset. But I knew it would set me back coming into the next year, and I did okay despite that. But now that I'm primed, you probably won't ever see me out of shape again. And um, yeah, it's just making sure we don't get injured and more time on the mats, just staying on the mats as much as you can, because that's where you make. I'm able to make so many gains, and I'll be able to lap my competition because the amount of people that take a seat for injuries or maybe they just want to go on a victory lap, it takes so much away. Like their potential is just being dulled. But not me, man. I've got the hunger mentally to really raise the bar big time this year, and that's what I want to do.
Bro, just how much weight did you lose? Because you were in insane shape. Those photos that came out a couple days before, you were shredded, man.
Yeah, bro, I'm getting better and better at weight cutting. I think I did one sauna blanket session at night,
That's it.
and that was it, bro. I made weight. Like I've been like journaling each weight cut that I've been doing, and that was by far the easiest weight cut I've ever done. And
Wow.
I'm large, bro. I'm very large for the
Mm.
division, so I think it's just like my muscle mass or something. Like I'm able to strip the water off my body real easy, and all the heat acclimation that I do. Like I do a lot of like long sauna sessions to like make sure my body's sweat rate is like right up there. And yeah, bro, it paid off because that weight cut was so smooth, bro. It's like that's how I want to be going into every fight. It's just
Yeah.
smooth sailing and not worrying about the weight. And if I can make the weight many times in a year, that's huge for me because I'll be able to fight often and maybe be a backup fighter for certain fight cards. Yeah, it'll be huge for my career.
So in terms of what's next, bro, you said you want to fight 2 or 3 more times this year. Do you have like an opponent in mind? Are you just about to go back on the training grind and see whatever pops up?
Yeah, I just leave that to the coaches. I just say, bro, I'll fight anyone. Like whoever you think is who I need for my next fight, that's up to you guys, like I don't like thinking about all that stuff. I just I have no enemies, bro. Like,
Mm.
it's just for me, it's just a battle with myself. And whoever it is that wants to fight or, talking it up and they want to run it, then let's run it. All I want to be is the guy that, is not ducking fades of anyone. So that's me.
I love that. That's that hearty Kiwi attitude. But I wanted to ask on the Jack Della Maddalena fight as well. Being in the arena for something like that, knowing that you'd fought on the card too, is that like inspirational as shit? Are you sitting back watching it as a fan being like, what the heck? I was in there a couple hours ago. Like, I'm so keen for a taste of that.
Yeah. Oh, bro, big time. I just seen Jack. I met Jack when I was there. I've never actually met him before, and bro, you can tell he's a solid dude, bro. Like he's the man. And I'd been a fan of him for a long time. Watching his career come off Contender Series and just seeing him delete everyone in the division. I actually thought people were crazy to think like that he didn't have a shot. I was like, mate, I think this guy's gonna piece below up. Like.
Yeah.
And he did exactly that, and I was like, man, why is everyone looking surprised? I was not surprised at all, and I'd credit to him, man. It's like, yeah, he deserves it, and it's good to get some like young champions in there as well. Want to see how far he goes, and obviously excited to maybe potentially fight Islam, man, and just seeing that whole process, bro. I've seen Israel's whole process to become a champion, seeing his and. Oh man, I just can't wait for my tune. That's
Oh,
what it amps me up for.
yeah, it's coming, bro. It's coming. Another teammate of yours who's about to go on that journey as well is Kai Carter France. Announced this morning he's going to fight Pantoja on June 29th for the flyweight strap. How exciting is that for you, bro, as a teammate, like walking back into the gym, the energy is going to be huge. Does that make things so much easier for you as well?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, well, no, for sure. Kai's been looking for that title for a while now, and man, I got all faith in him, and man, he just hit so bloody hard, bro. And it'll be massive for New Zealand, to get a champion, to get another champion, and him being potentially the first New Zealand-born Māori champion, I believe, would be massive as well. Like far out, that's a huge achievement. And he's been grinding a long time, man. I've followed his journey for years, back when he was a youngster, and when I wasn't even like fighting, I was following him, I knew who he was. So man, it'd be crazy to see that happen and see him achieve his dreams. And yeah, just like I like that the spotlight is shedding back on city kickboxing and Auckland and New Zealand and Maldives, and man, it's massive for us, bro. And
Yeah.
I think the New Zealand needs to get behind us.
Massively, bro. Surely we're due a card. Do you mention it to Dana? I saw you shake his hand. I was like,
Yeah.
surely slip it in there. Be like,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah.
bring it back to NZ, bro.
Oh man, that would be massive, bro. I'm
Yeah.
I'm lucky trying to get my rep up so that when they do come here,
Oh,
I
headline.
can really hone in on that. I can be a star. I can be on the main card or something.
Yeah, no. Rate that, bro. It's only a matter of time for sure. Well, I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day, bro, this close out of the fight. Looking forward to seeing what's next for you, bro, and all the best, man.
Cheers, brother. Thank you.
Round 10 of God's Game dished up plenty of shock results yet again and some massive second half comebacks. The majority of teams that were leading at halftime, in particular on your Friday and your Saturday, then went on to lose in the second half. She was an absolute roller coaster. Bloody hard to tip as well. Thank God for the Warriors. I basically went into that Warriors game 0-3 in my tipping, and I was in a world of trouble. But luckily, the boys are reliable lads. They delivered for us. Thursday night, though, saw the Dolphins beat the Eels 20 points to 16. Isaiah Katoa Fuck me, is this kid a genius, of course. Had SJ on my pod a couple weeks back. He was singing his praises there. Love that Sean Hubby did on his pod this week too, just breaking down his ball playing. He is so silky, plays way above his age suggests. Still only 21 years old, so he's still got so much development in his game. But that try he turned on for Bostock, his ability to change speeds as he ball plays, to look in but play out, to just create time with ball in hand when opposition teams are trying to pressure him. He makes it all look so easy, and that in itself is a massive skill and one that quite often can't be taught. So the kid's clearly got something in him, and the best thing about it too, he's the one to take Tonga and lead them over this next kind of 10-year cycle. I reckon what he is going to do for them at the international game is only going to help grow the game on the biggest stage too. Got to give a shout out to the Fox as well for Para. I thought he was their best player. Didn't score in this one, but ran for 239 metres off 22 carries, 9 tackle breaks, 3 line breaks. He's playing some bloody good footy at the moment. He's probably behind Lomax, Turbo and Kiraz for that New South Wales wing spot at the moment, but he wouldn't look out of place in that team. He's a guy who's done the job before too, so if a couple injuries strike during this Origin window, I wouldn't be surprised if, say, Game 3, Laurie Daly goes back to him because he knows he can trust them. But the Fox playing some good code at his new home of the Eels. Friday night footy saw the Titans win the Pooh Slinger Cup, the first of many games that flipped completely at Oranges, as I alluded to before. Up 20 points to 6 at the break. I thought the Knights had this one done and dusted. They look so dominant too. The Titans, they literally looked like they didn't want to be there. The kick chase was woeful. They were applying no pressure, just going through the motions. I thought that 35th minute try though to Philip Sammy, aka the Sandwich, that really kicked them into gear. Then half time, probably got a rev up from Des, whose job was literally potentially on the line. He got a rocket up them and shit did they respond. 20 unanswered points to embarrass the Knights at home. Adam O'Brien must be struggling for sleep at night because his job must be on the line. KP, he looked so bemused at the press conference. Talk about a bloke that didn't want to be there. He looked like he couldn't wait for that thing to wrap up. So really interested to see how the Knights track over the next couple of weeks because shit are they struggling. Then following that, the Bunnies 22 points to 14. They bet the Broncos. Broncos up 14 and coasting at the break. Then they decide to concede 22 unanswered points. And we got to witness a Latrell Mitchell clinic to pick up the dub at home and really have Broncos fans wondering what is going on at their once powerhouse club. And shit was Trell good on both sides of the ball too, which was probably the most impressive thing. We know what he can do on attack. He does that all the time, but his defensive work was huge. He pulled off 2 massive try savers, one on Payne Haas with a full head of steam. I'll go out on a limb here and say he's probably the only fullback in the comp with the size and strength to be able to pull that off. Then he had another one-on-one with Dean Mariner in the corner. Dean Mariner, underrated, man. He's quick, he's powerful. He had a full head of steam up as well. He was gunning for the corner. Latrell had fuck all room to move with there. You're so isolated at the back, but he just chopped them perfectly, took him into touch. 2 massive plays there from Latrell. And then, of course, that 48-metre 2-point field goal. Shit does he hit them pure. It was pissing down with rain, a tough surface. He disguises it, doesn't look like he's going for it at all. He was almost semi-jogging, but he just steps up and pumps it through the post. No one knew that that was coming. He makes it look so easy. I reckon he could have hit that from like 55 metres out because they had plenty of legs on it too. And then that 80-minute cheeky try there. Not so sure where I stand on that one, to be fair. If you didn't see it, basically he dropped a knee. Siren was going, looked like he was just conceding, surrender tackle to end the game, stands up and dives over the try line. Look, that's Trell Mitt though, and it really did remind me of that try Joey Manu scored a couple years back where he semi-faked a knee injury, players around him gave up on the tackle, then he just gassed it and scored a try too. Certainly not in the spirit of the game, and it's not something I want to see more of. Almost also reminds me of, say, last 3 seconds of a basketball game, opposition team scores. People get really barred up about that one, but I think Latrell, he was just adding fuel to the fire for Queensland fans with Origin fast approaching. He's already not liked in that state, and this will certainly have them pissed off too. But well done to the Bunnies, a great dub for them. Madge Maguire, another one, probably not getting his full 8 hours of sleep at the moment. Super Saturday certainly lived up to its name. 3 great games with the Raiders dropping a 20-point halftime lead to lose the second half 30 points to 0 to the Doggies. Crazy stuff. What a momentum shift. And it was led by the Dogs skipper and Stephen Crichton. He was all over Sebi Chris and they just kept going back to him and he was making them pay. His ability with ball in hand, we all know world class. He's the best defensive centre in the game, but ball in hand, he's so underrated. He makes the ball look tiny too. He's got some mitts on the kid and his ease of which he just transfers the ball from hand to hand really is outstanding. He scored a try, 2 try assists, 3 line breaks, and I genuinely thought he turned this game on its head. Jamin Salmon with a try and the weak gutted dog celebration, which got chins wagging as well, although he then got injured. He's out for a little while now, so maybe Ricky got the last laugh in that one. A great win on the road, though, for Serraldo's Dogs, beating a really classy Canberra side. A big crowd there too. First time in, I think, the last 30 years that Canberra have sold out a home regular season game, which just goes to show for me how elite Warriors fans are, because we literally do that week in, week out at the Fortress. So we don't take it for granted, that's for sure. Speaking of the Warriors, big win for us, 15 points to 14 over the Dragons. It wasn't always pretty, but it sure was gritty. It takes us to 7 wins from our 9 games, equals our best start since 2002 when we won the minor prem, and then also back in 2018. And also, importantly for me, it was our 5th win this year by 6 points or less. If you contrast that with last year, when we lost 7 games by 6 points or less, that's been the difference maker. We've literally almost flipped that on its head. And those points right there, when you think about the 7 losses last year, that was 14 competition points, which would have had us deep into finals footy. This year, we've picked up 5 wins, 10 competition points, and look at where we're sitting on the ladder. We're just finding ways to win tight ones by sheer want and determination. And while it's not always the easiest to watch, I think we're going to really reap the rewards from this period at the back end of the season. Aaron Clark, Mitch Barnett, outstanding yet again, dominated the middle. Aaron Clark with 177 run meters and 52 tackles in 65 minutes. Then you had Big Mana Mitch from across the ditch with 186 run meters, 47 tackles in 64 minutes. They set the tone all night, as they do every week, and to think Fish will join them this week and make that a scary as trio. I would hate to be a Dolphins middle forward this weekend. Have to give a shout out to Wade Egan Park as well for his work defensively. 50 tackles in 73 minutes. In fact, Barnett, Clark and Wado all combined for 149 tackles. That is a monster effort right there. Lukey Matt, he's now scored 7 tries this season. Of course, scored 1 here, snapped a 1-pointer as well, which ended up being the game-winning, the difference maker in the 69th minute. Smart stuff from him, got in early when no one expected it, and really changed the last 10 minutes of how this game was played as well. You could tell it threw the Dragons off. All of a sudden, they were chasing 1 point to try and force Golden Point. They changed the way in which they were playing, went away from trying to score tries, and instead they were so tunnel vision focused on just trying to level this game up and not lose as the result of that field goal. It meant Val had a couple opportunities, but he just couldn't bang them over. This was eyes up stuff from LM7. It was the difference maker. No one expected it, but Luke, great to hear Webby talk after, say that Metcalf practices these situations just on the fly. If you get the opportunity, if it presents itself, you got to back yourself to bang it over, and that's exactly what he did. Yes, earlier than a lot of people expected, but it still ended up being the game winner, and I commend Lukey Met for taking his chances. We saw so many botched opportunities across the weekend, and he wasn't going to let that happen to us. Again, we faced adversity in this game too. The Bunty injury, the Jacko Ford HIA, meant that the Young Bucks really had to rip in and play some bigger minutes. Lecker, holy hecka, here comes Lecker with another 80-minute shift, and then big Dimitrik Vaimolga punched out 40 as well. Thought he handled it really well too. His impact through the middle was definitely noticeable. Dallin, unfortunately, tough night for him. First game back, rust, to be expected though, and I don't think people realise just how hard it would be to come back in after a massive layoff. Of course, got injured in that first preseason game of the year. He's had limited contact training to go straight back into first grade. It's one thing to train with the lads, go full oppose, full contact, things like that. To be slotted straight back into a first grade game though, that would be so hard to do. I think it'll be so much better for the run, and I'm expecting a big bounce back performance this weekend for the old flying mullet. I have to give Kurt Capewell a shout out too. I thought his effort areas on kick chase, they're so elite, and his scramble. All the lads actually. There was a play there where Tane just worked so hard to get back off a half break, ended up saving a try 2 or 3 tackles later just by putting himself in the defensive line and in the right position. The boys just want to win. We're showing up for each other, refusing to quit. We're also leading the comp in completion rates. We have the lowest amount of errors and penalties against us. We're sitting in second on a 4-game winning streak. It's just a bloody good time to be a Warriors fan. After that, saw the Panthers and Cowboys play out a 30-all draw, a lesson in field goal cock-ups from both teams in this one. Why Mitch Kenny didn't feed the people's chin, the Iceman Nathan Cleary down the stretch there, I'll never know. He's copped it post-game from fans too, which I'm not about. Don't go DMing players, but I do think that was a bit of a brain fart there from him. He obviously thought he saw something, an opportunity to attack. But man, with couple minutes to go, Cleary in the pocket, you just feed him every time and let him do his thing. I thought Blaze Talangi was really good, had a try, 4 try assists. That's insane. His best performance in a Penrith jersey by far, and with that Origin window coming up, they're really going to need him to step up and run the cutter. Something interesting that's arisen from this, a bit of a scandal, a talking point too. The old Panthers trainer wetting the ball before every kickoff. For me, that needs an uppercut. Certainly not in the spirit of the game. It is clever, but I don't think the trainer should handle the ball at any stage throughout the game. They already play too big of a role. You see them pop up on your TV screens all the time. The fact that he's got the ball in his hand leading back to a kickoff, I don't think it's necessary. So it'll be interesting to see what the NRL do and if they punish him over the weeks to come as well. Then final game, Storm 64. They trounced the Tigers 2-0. I said last week I thought Benji's lads might feel the wrath of Bellamy's boys after their loss to the Raiders, and that's exactly what happened in this one. Ryan Pappenhausen, absolutely insane. 4 tries, 10 from 11 off the tee, 36 points, a Storm record, 211 run meters, 7 tackle breaks. What a shift from him. He's in some crazy good form this year. I saw online he recently broke up with his missus as well, so maybe that's added some extra fuel to the fire. Make her jealous as fuck by just ripping up. That would suck. She turns on the news on a Sunday night, ready to settle in. She's got her takeaways on her lap, and there it is, just Pappy tearing it up, breaking the Storm record. That is one way to cause jealousy and get back at your ex, but man, what a performance from him. He's got to be so close to playing his way into that Origin 1 jersey. Post-game, the pain didn't stop for the Tigers either. Luo's old man adding fuel to the fire as well. Jumped on his Instagram story and said early release clause activated. In all seriousness, I think it was just a bit of fun and games, a bit of an attempt at banter from the star player's old man. But I think Luo would add a fair chat to his old boy and just said, look, with everything that's going on, the Galvin situation, how hard Luai went at him for what he did, not wanting to re-sign. I just think the timing couldn't have been any worse. I see since then his old boy's gone to private on Insta. Probably a smart decision there. But on to this week we march. Round 11 kicks off tomorrow night, actually. No Thursday night footy with the Women's Origin game on instead. Recommend watching this one. It was bloody good clash. That first game, high quality footy as well. And up the mighty Blues. Hopefully they can pull this win off to make it 2-0. And wrap up the series. Friday night sees the Eels take on the Knights. Knights with back-to-back Friday night games. Whoever decided they deserve the big stage is clearly not all there in the head. A big night though for Dane Gagai, his 300th NRL game. Also a big night for Zach Lomax, who is set to make his return from a foot injury that sidelined him since round 5. He's still got one game, this game, to play his way into a sky blue jersey. He's going to want to come up with a big performance. It's probably him, Tommy Turbo, Kiraz, all fighting it out for that winger spot. So that'll be an interesting watch. I'm surprised to see the Eels go in as underdogs in this one. They've won 7 of their last 8 games against the Knights. And I just think with Lomax back as well, they get the job done. Although I have backed them in over the last 2 weeks just off the Moses factor. And they've fucked me both times. So maybe I'm stupid for running it back, but hey, $2.15, like we'll touch on in the punting segment. I just think that's way too good a value. Second game, she's a doozy. Dogs versus Roosters. Both teams have won their last 2 games. Roosters coming in fresh off a bye, and they welcome back Lindsay Collins, who will be pushing for his Queensland Origin spot too. It's a real tough game to pick, this one. It does have some upset potential. There's always at least one on your Friday night. Will it be Para or will it be the Chooks? I think the way Critter's playing at the moment, though, that the Dogs will be bloody hard to beat, especially off the back of that second 40 minutes they produce. They'll have a shit ton of momentum from that. They're at Accor Stadium too, in front of a ton of passionate Doggy fans. So I'll back them just to be too good in a tight one. Super Saturday, triple header. We get the best team in the comp dished up first. The mighty One New Zealand Warriors heading over to Sun Co-op, our happy hunting ground from 2 weeks ago at Magic Round to take on the Redcliffe Dolphins. And some good news too. Our inspirational skipper, the Fish, James Fisher-Harris, he's back from a pec strain and ready to rip. And I saw him doing some press-ups at training the other day. Can confirm his tits are firing and he is good to go. Also a chance as well that RTS could come into the lineup, named at the moment in jersey 22. Be interesting to see if he does come in the centres for Capewell, or would Webby stick him on the wing and drop Tane Tuopiki. Personally, I'll go with that first option, push Capes back to the second row, move Marata onto the bench as our bench middle forward, and then either Healy or Tamaire Martin would drop out of the 17. Keep an eye on that situation though, if Roger is good to go. And shout out to Webby as well, naming 8 double barrel last names in our 22 this week. We've got C&K, DWZ, CHT, JFH, EIT, TSS, RTS, and MGT. If you're wondering why the Waz are second in the comp at the moment, look no further than that. I've always been a huge believer in the fact that if you want a fair dinkum footy side, you need to name as many double barrelers as you can. 8 of the best. That is magnificent stuff. The rest of the team, it remains fairly settled. Of course, no Bunty, no Jacko Ford. They're out due to injury, but that was to be expected. Dallin with another game under his belt. Back him in for a big performance. Dolphins' right side defense is a leaky sieve. It's ranked as the worst side in the comp. They've conceded 9 tries to right wingers so far this year. So in you go, Dell. Back him in, the flying mullet, to score a couple for sure. For the Finns, no changes for them. The team that packs plenty of strike out wide in the hammer. Herbie, Avarillo, Isako, and Bostock. And then they've got that exciting halves combo as well of 8% Cody's, old Cody Nikarima, and the young wizard in Isaiah Katoa. So looking forward to that. The battle between the outside backs, one-on-one. There's going to be some great matchups. And then, of course, we get dished up the lip licker. The battle of the sevens. Met the Jet, old Zip, up against Katoa. 2 guns going at it. The Warriors win it for me in front of a huge Kiwi crowd. Scenes of Magic Round 2.0. And this is going to be a heck of a game, I reckon. Then after that, you get Manly versus the Cows. Big game, this one. Important for both sides to get the win too. And old Toddy Payton, he's rolled the dice and made a pretty big call with young gun Jackson Purdue shifting from the centres into 5'8". Clifford, the big red dog, dropped Tommy Dearden to play halfback. This is huge. Old Zachy Labour, he comes into the centres as well, and he's set for his first NRL game since tearing his ACL back in round 5 last year. So well done to him. For Manly, Jake Travojevic named to return at lock. So Jazz Tavanga goes back to hooker. Disappointing scenes for fantasy people that brought old Jazz, the old bald eagle, into the mixer. Ethan Bullymore, he'll start at prop, and Jake Simpkin goes back to the bench. bench. I'm expecting a high-scoring game in this one. Manly desperate for a win. They've lost 4 out of their last 5, but it won't be easy against the Cows side that looks sharp at times in their draw against the Panthers and also sharp in times in their performance against us. They just desperately need to put it together for 80 minutes, and then they'll be a genuine contender because on their day, their attack is red hot. They just can't string it consistently for the duration of the game. Sharks versus Storm, this should be a doozy. Nico Hines taking on his old side, and in huge news for Melbourne and also Queensland fans, the potential return of the Wizard, young Harry Grant, listed in the reserves as he looks to return for the first time from a hamstring injury and prove his fitness for the old Origin opener for the Sharks. No massive changes for them, and although I say each week that I don't trust them, I do have to say they've won 4 of their last 5, and I think Nico Hines' form over the last fortnight has been the best footy he's played in a bloody long time. The keys for them will be shutting down that Melbourne spine and trying to contain the threat of Pepe at the back. He'll be pushing hard for another huge shift for him too. He's just applying pressure now on your Dylan Edwards, on your James Tedesco, trying to wear the sky blue for the first time. It's great to see him as well, just punching out consistent games, 80-minute performances. He's healthy, he's getting some time under him. On his day, he's the best attacking fullback in the comp, and he's certainly firing on all cylinders at the moment. Super Sunday sees the Broncos take on the Dragons. Biggest story from this one has to be the return of Wham Bam Ezra Mam from suspension. For me, the suspension wasn't long enough, but the NRL, they dished out his punishment. He's now served his time for the crime that he did, and he gets to return to that Broncos jersey. Goes straight back in with Hunt sidelined as well, so it's almost perfect timing for the Broncos. And shit, did Ezra look good in the Queensland Cup last week. Tore them to shreds. It'll be interesting to see how the Broncos crowd reacts to him too. When he popped up on the big screen at Magic Round, he was copping the boos, but maybe they'll be a bit more accepting of him now. They need him to show up ready to go too. Broncos starting to get into must-win territory. Dragons, they'll be stinging after that close loss to the Warriors last week. I reckon it's going to be an interesting game, this one. Bloody tight. I want the Dragons to win it. Really enjoy seeing the Broncos in turmoil after what they did to us in that 2023 prelim. But every time you just look at this Broncos side on paper, you think, surely this is the week they hit their straps. They've got so many weapons in the duffel. They should be too strong. They're just not delivering at the moment. And Madge must be really scratching his head, wondering what the heck he has to do to get them firing on all cylinders. Final game of the weekend, another close one for me to pick as well. Tigers taking on the Bunnies at Leichhardt. Tigers fresh off a humping. No Whanua Pole, who will be a big loss for them in the middle as well. Terrell May, Luai, both of them looking to make one last Origin push to stake their claim for a jersey as well. The Bunnies, they welcome back AJ, who is chasing down the NRL try-scoring record. Latrell, he's looking to book his Origin spot, or at least cement it. This one's a real fence sitter for me. I reckon Benji will be looking for a response from his boys. The Bunnies will be coming in confident after that Trell Mitt clinic last week too. Down to the wire, but nuts on the line. If I had to make a prediction, probably just go with the Bunnies and back in the class of Trell Mitt and co to be too good. Finally, before we move on from the league, of course it was announced NRL in Vegas, the teams that'll be participating heading over next year. Do have to say, pretty underwhelming. I don't know if that's because the Warriors this year, it was so good having them there. Loved making that trip. I reckon next year's lineup is pretty mud. I would have loved to have seen the Storm and a few other of the remaining big dogs in the mix. Instead though, we get the Dogs taking on the Dragons. I think the Dogs deserve to be there, but that clash hardly excites me. And then the Knights versus the Cowboys. Shit, you got to be a purist if you're flying over there for that one. Hull KR will take on Leeds in their Super League encounter. No doubt plenty of English will be booking their tickets at the moment, but this is all pretty meh for me. I'll save my money, blow it all on Magic Round instead, and I would highly encourage you to do the same. If you're weighing up a trip to Vegas as a neutral fan or a trip to Magic Round as a Warriors fan, it's an absolute no-brainer next year. Super Rugby, some results from last week as we inch closer now to finals footy. Only 3 games remaining for the teams that don't have the bye. Of course, it kicked off last Friday night with the Drua getting pumped by the Blues in Suva, 34 points to 5. The Blues just too good, and for me, this was their most 2024-like performance so far this year. They just dominated with their forward pack, won the set piece. They were so physical. You could tell they were in a mood and they wanted to get the job done. Bodie Barrett put them in the right areas, his kicking game, his vision. He's just got the ball on the string at the moment in some great form, and this pushes them up to 5th. A mouth-watering clash this weekend against Moana, which is a massive challenge for them at QBE. That one is going to be a doozy, but well done to the Blues. They went over to Fiji, not an easy place to go. Suva preferred to the trip to Lautoka, but of course what we saw the Drua do to the Reds the week before would have had them on high alert, but they come away with the 5 points. No real injury worries either. This is exactly what they needed to keep their season rolling on. Tars 21, Reds 28. Reds too good. Tars' discipline just hurt them late, as did losing Joseph Suali'i, which is really gutting to see. Bit of a jaw fracture. They said he's out for about 4 weeks, so Super Rugby season is probably done. Should be back for the Lions, which is great because you want that hot boy in there to really get bums on seats. But a big blow for the Tars for me. This just ends their finals hopes. Reds too good. Super Saturday, Crusaders 19, Chiefs 35. What a game this was, a real tale of two halves, a bit like the NRL last week in terms of both halves being dominated by 2 completely different sides. It was the Satyrs who started strong. They were up 19-10 at the half, but then the Chiefs piled on 25 unanswered points in the second 40 to blow them away. Bloody hard to do that too. Crusaders, they were top of the table or thereabouts heading into this weekend. Then you take them on in Christchurch in front of a sold-out, passionate crowd on a cold night. Well done to the Chiefs. This was a massive challenge for them, and they certainly rose to the occasion. The loss of Will Jordan really hurt the Crusaders as well, but at the same time, I just think the Chiefs were genuinely the better side, and that makes it 2 from 2 for them against their arch rivals this season. Shit, they got a physical pack as well, led by Luke Jacobson. Wallace Satiti, what a player he was, elite, back to his best after that injury layoff. The kid is a gun. It's taken him, 2 weeks to hit his straps and look like one of the best players in the world yet again. He's just so deadly with ball in hand. And then in the backs, I thought D-Mac was at his menacing best. That battle to wear the All Blacks 10 jersey between him and Bodie will once again be a tight one, and one that plenty of experts will be talking about in the weeks to come. I thought Damien really clicked into gear in the second half, though, took this game away from the Crusaders and ultimately proved to be the difference maker. He's such a dominant attacking player at Super Rugby level, and when he clicks it up a notch, he's almost impossible to stop. Add to that, the Chiefs' outside backs thought they were really special too. Imoni Narawa and Leroy Carter. Carter's try, that individual effort off the back of a nice play from Rampling, the old scoop up off of David Havili-Grubber when nothing was doing, a pretty shit kick, but Rampling controlled it well, popped it up to Bumfa, gave early ball to the speedster, and he did the rest. That was a great individual effort, and up the Chiefs' mana. And then final game, Force 14, Brumbies 33. This one's in give a fuck territory, really, although I will say Tizano's late scratching cost my multi. Meant it got voided and refunded, so I'll take it, but that was heartbreaking. Had him for an anytime try scorer meaty. Also had him in my fantasy team, so a big up yours truly to him. Noah Loloseo as well, involved in a pretty scary incident, a bad injury, but it looks like he's going to be okay eventually. Brumbies, they're good. Force, they're running out of puff. Basically, that's how you sum this game up. It played out as expected. This week, we get 5 games again, just the Chiefs with a bye. Canes, they're back in action, taking on the Landers, 7:05 p.m. on your Full Fizz Friday. Looking forward to this game. Canes, their last 2 weeks before the bye, they had really hit their straps, playing some great code with Ruben Love at 10, Proctor back in the midfield. It just seems like they were starting to click. Interesting to see this week, Brad Shields comes in to start start on the loose forwards. Peter Lakai, he's pretty unlucky not to be starting. He's moved back to the bench. Balin Sullivan, he's come in for Kinina Holo on that wing. Of course, bagged 4 tries in that position his last time out and gutted for Kinney, confirmed ACL. So that one really hurts. On the positive side, they lose an ACL, they get one back. Brett Cameron, fully recovered. He'll take his spot on the Pine. A pretty handy footballer, underrated too. So he could have some good impact for them off the bench just to close out games in that 10 jersey, expecting they'll push Ruben Love back to 15. Harkin will come off for him whenever he is injected into the game. I'm predicting Canes to be too strong. Landers, for me, they've just really fallen off after a decent start. And I think the trip to the Cake Tin will be too much. Next, after that, you have the Crusaders taking on the Tars. Just the one change for the Tars, of course, Suali'i is out. The rest of the team remains really consistent, though. We all know they're a bloody hard team to beat at home, too, so the Crusaders certainly won't be taking this trip lightly, and if they want to finish the regular season in first or have a shot at doing so, they need to bank this win as well. 4 changes for Rob Penny's lads, with the young lad, Ioane Moanunu, the hooker. He gets the start. Love watching him play. Quinn Strange packs down as the starting lock as well. So no Scotty Barrett for this one, and what is a big blow. Not sure if they're just resting him or what the go is there. Loose forward trio, that's unchanged. And then the only change in the back line, Johnny McNichol gets the nod to start at fullback. I thought they might have gone with Shea Fihaki there and then given old mate Macca Springer a spot start on the wing. He's not even on the bench, so not sure if he's injured at the moment. Dallas McLeod's daughters is wearing the 23 jersey, so perhaps he was unavailable. If he is, I find that selection really weird, especially after he recently extended his contract. For me, Sada's too good, but expect it to be tight. That loss of Scott Barrett for this game could be huge for them as well. Drua, they take on the Force in Lautoka. Don't need to talk too much about that one. Just expect the Drua to be too good. Moana versus the Blues. And big news for the lads from the other side of the bridge. The City of Sails. Vern Cotter, he welcomes back All Black winger Caleb Clark onto the Sting. Great to see him back. It's been a while since he's laced up the boots, so really keen to see him rip and tear. Apart from that, couple little tinkering changes. Adrian Choate gets the start at blindside flanker. Anton Segner drops out of the 23 completely. Again, that's surprising. Finlay Christie comes onto the bench after missing last week's trip across. I've really been impressed with that Funaki as well. A bit of a bigger body in the 9 jersey. Reminds me of like an Augustine Pulu, and the energy he brings is always massive. Strong bench for the Blues as well. Harry Plummer, Kurt Eklund and the likes round her out on the remove for Moana. She's a strong team. Tana Umanga realising that it's literally do or die. They need to pick up probably 2 of their last 3 games, and they're all bloody tough too. Blues at home, Chiefs on the road, and then they've got the Canes on the road to finish up as well. So he's throwing the kitchen sink at this one off the back of a bye. Patrick Pellegrini, he gets the start at 10. Jackson Garden Bishop moves to the bench. Rest of the team, pretty similar. You always, whenever you see the Moana team named, you jump straight to the 7 jersey. You want to check Asav is in the mixer because they always a chance whenever he is. And he is there too. So expect big things from Moana here. Hopefully in front of a sold-out crowd as well. Let's pack out the dog pound. Get out there in numbers. I'd love to see Moana upset them here. I do just wonder if the Blues will have too much talent across their 23 to get the job done. And saying that, Moana have a bloody strong squad too, and they'll be confident. They've played some good footy this year, and they've banked enough quality to show that they can beat any team on their day. Let's just hope it's their day. Discipline and limiting errors will be key. But if they're allowed to play footy, some razzle, Artie gets his kicking game going, his short kicking game, which was seen over the last couple of weeks, then they'll be bloody hard to stop too. So get up the Moana. This is must-watch stuff, and really looking forward to that game. Shout out as well, before we move on from the rugby, to the New Zealand under-20s, the old baby Blacks, for getting a big win against South Africa as well. Despite finishing the game with 13 players, they were able to hold on by the skin of their sacks. I gotta say too, that halfback, who'd have gone, he just goes to kick the ball out to end the game, ends up kicking it backwards out in the in goal, and it only just goes out as well. Got the pitching wedge out, chipped it off a boxy, and no doubt his teammates were thinking, what the fuck is this bloke up to? But luckily it just made it. Shit, it was a nervous end to this game. But shout out to the coat man, Riley Tofalau as well. Started at prop, got through his work, 50-odd minutes, a solid shift. The two wingers as well, I've forgotten their names, but they combined for, I think, 5 tries in what was an entertaining game of code. Good to see the lads win the rugby championship as well and build towards that under-20s World Cup, which is fast approaching. Again, on shout-outs as well, shout out to the New Zealand under-85s for beating Sri Lanka, wrapping up their series, and most importantly, winning the post-game boat race as well, which I saw online. Good to see. That's under-85s code, getting dubs on the field and off it, sinking some beers with the boys. You love to see it. Weekly wrap, we'll punch this one out, keep her short and sharp. Should be talking some NBA playoffs. Won't go too deep into it, but of course it looks like the Celtics are gone now. Jason Tatum, Achilles surgery, Knicks up 3-1, so it seems like that series is over and they will wrap it up in the next game. Maybe one more, but it would take a huge lift from Boston now without their superstar to get the job done. It's surely just a mountain too far to climb. The Cavs, they're gone, 4-1 to the Pacers. Disappointing for them. It's funny, the two teams with by far the best records in the East look like they're going to go out in the second round, and 2 4-1 margins, which is pretty bloody dominant. The Thunder, they're up 3-2 against the Nuggets, a big win for them and a chance for them to wrap it up. And the T-Wolves, well, they're taking on the Warriors today. 1:30 tip-off with a chance for them to send the Warriors to Cancun as well. A bit of chat around Curry potentially lacing up. You guys will probably know more by the time you're listening to this. I saw a crazy stat. Their offensive rating with Curry in the lineup, the Warriors' offensive rating is number 1 in the NBA. It's number 30 without him, which just goes to show how impactful he is. Anthony Edwards in his bag at the moment, though, so I'm expecting the T-Wolves to get the job done at home today in Minneapolis, Minnesota, a state famous to all of you who used to watch the Mighty Ducks as a child like me growing up. What a great movie that was. Sticking to basketball as well, Cooper Flagg goes to Dallas with the number 1 draft pick. How they ended up with him, a 1.8% chance at landing the number 1 pick, and somehow they tin-assed it, absolutely fluked it, and managed to get him. Nico Harrison, surely he can't fuck this one up. He just has to draft the bloke at 1. It is so clear and obvious. Don't trade the pick, Nico. This is your chance to get Dallas fans back on board with you just a smidge after trading away Luka. If you don't know Cooper Flagg, basically, he was unreal this year at Duke, was voted the Player of the Year award as a freshman, averaged 19.2 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 4.2 assists per game. And he's right up there with some of the potential great number 1 picks of our time. He's got superstar potential. I've seen some footage of him going up against Team USA as a 17-year-old as they prepared for a tournament. And he was cooking blokes like AD and Drew Holiday. His potential is massive. So he could be a great asset there for Dallas, who certainly lucked out and probably saved Nico Harrison his job. Ryan Fox, shout out to him. What a win. This was massive earlier in the week. A real feel-good story when the Myrtle Beach Classic in South California, beating Mackenzie Hughes and Harry Higgs in a sudden death playoff hole, and he did it in dramatic fashion as well. Chipped in from about 54 feet for birdie, a beautiful chip, really went at the pin. If it missed, it was probably going to roll out, an all or nothing roll at the dice for him after a tough tee shot, and he pulled it off. Higgins and Hughes, they both missed their putts to match him, and then he got to come away with the dub. It was a huge win for Foxy as well. His first on the PGA Tour, he banked a $720,000 payday, but arguably most importantly, he's now exempt as a winner on the PGA Tour through till 2027, which means he secured his spot for the next couple years. That is massive. He's such a likeable bloke. Been lucky enough to have a chat with him before. Just a down-to-earth guy. He's incredibly talented, and it's great to see him get it done. And speaking of incredibly talented, AFC, they kick off their first leg of the A-League semi-finals this Saturday, 9:35. What a Saturday of sport we're going to be treated to, of course. This game is over in Melbourne, up against the Victory. We've had the better of them in our 2 regular season meetings as well. We drew 0-0 on New Year's Day over at Go Medium. Perhaps the boys were a bit dusty after the back of a big shift the night before, so that one can be excused. And then we bet them in our most recent fixture, 2-0 at Amy Park in mid-April. So let's hope for more of that. Just run that performance back there, lads. But go the fucking boys. We've got the return leg next Saturday, 6 p.m. at the Fortress. The port will be humming. Go Media will be packed. You got the Warriors the next day against the Raiders. What a 24 hours at Mount Smart that will be. The old Penrose Platters will be flying out the gates. Can't wait to get around that, the old double header at the best venue for sport in New Zealand, even though it's probably not. We're just saying that because we're biased as Warriors diehards. And go the mighty AFC. Right, time to have a look at a couple of markets on the old tea and biscuits. Remember that code for this week as well. The bonus cash code is Surly. Chuck that in on the app or website under the promos section. Place a first, second or third try scorer bet on any NRL game across this weekend. If your player doesn't score, you'll get your money back in bonus cash up to $20, and you can only use that in one game, so choose wisely. Friday night footy, Knights versus Para. Wouldn't really recommend doing it in this one because it is a poo slinger, although perhaps Joshy Addo-Carr is a great bet for you. Touch more on that shortly. The Knights have only won 1 of their last 7 games. The Eels have won 7 of their last 8 against the Knights as well. Mitch Moses has scored 60 points in his last 4 games against Newey. I can't believe Para are $2.15 underdogs here. The Knights are $1.70 favourites. Fletcher Sharp, he scored 4 tries in his last 2 games, paying $2.60 here. Dane Gagai, his 300th NRL game. He's a great shot for a milestone meaty at $3.15. The low job, Zachy Lomax, he's back. He's paying $1.92 to score. The Fox didn't score last week, but he scored 6 in his 4 games before that, paying $2. He's a must get on for me. And then Dylan Brown, he scored in back-to-back games, paying $3.15. My same game multi for this one, I'm going Eels. I reckon they'll get them into the Fox, paying $3.32. If you wanted to get on him first, second or third, like I mentioned before, that's paying $4.20. I really like that option. Dogs, $1.38. Chookies, $3.10 in the second one on your Full Fizz Friday. The Bulldogs, they've outscored their opposition 52-0 in their 2 games at a core so far this year. The Roosters, they've only won 2 of their last 8 games at that venue as well. The Doggies, they've only won 2 of their last 12 against the Chooks, though. Historically, they suck shit against them, so they'll be looking to turn that around in this game for sure. James Tedesco, he scored 7 tries in his last 6 games against the Doggies, paying $3.35 to score here, and further pushes claims for that State of Origin jersey. Marky Mark Nwanganetawase, he scored 3 tries in his last 2 games, paying $2.25 to score in this one. Rob Toya, can I get a Hoya, fresh off a double pre the bye. He scored 3 tries in his last 3 games. You can get $4.20 for him. And then Matty Burden, he scored 5 tries in his last 5 games against the Chooks. He's $3.35. Kiraz, 4 tries in his last 2 games, $1.83. Those 2 probably the picks of the bunch for the Doggies. For me, this same gamer, it's a real Daryl Tuffy to pick the result here. Something in me screams the Chooks at $3.10 is too much. I think those stats have really pointed me in that direction, but shit, the Dogs are scary at a core, so I reckon you could go Dogs into a Wicked Wingers bet. Kiraz and Marky Mark, $5.40, or maybe that either team 1 to 12 try bet option could be a bloody good one here. Super Saturday, 3 games of course. Finns Warriors, the first of your lip lickers. Finns $2, was $1.82. The Warriors have only won 2 of their last 8 games at Suncorp. That's irrelevant though. We literally won there 2 weeks ago at Magic Round. Bet the Cowboys, bet the Panthers there last year. That stat can get fucked. We've had our best start in the club's history tied. We're on a 4-game winning streak. Everything just points all stacks on deck towards the Warriors. Herbie Farnworth, the herbivore, he scored 4 tries in 4 consecutive games. He's also scored 4 tries in his last 3 games against the Warriors, so $2.45 for him is pretty good money. The Hammer, he scored 7 tries in his last 5 games at Suncorp as well. He's paying $1.90. Ray Stone, he's a roughie as well at lock, $7.25 for him to score. That's some pretty good value for the Warriors. Lukey Met, the Jet, he scored 6 tries in his last 6 games, 3 in his last 2, $2.85. He continues to dish up some decent value for the punters. Dallin, tough light last week, of course. On his return, he's $1.82 here, and he will be super popular. Back him in. CHT, $4.20. Love Suncorp, scored there in Magic Round. Liquor the Wrecker, he's also paying $4.20, refusing to give up on him. And speaking of refusing to give up on someone, Aaron Clark, $7. I'm just going to keep punting it every week because while he's not dotting, he's putting out man of the match performances. And I like to think that my $10 a week has something to play a part in that as well. His odds seem to be going down despite him not scoring too. 7s. I think that's the tightest he's been. But hey, I'll ride him home. Get up the Warriors. My same game multi, Waz into Dell and Lecker, $9.25. If you want to chuck that Lecker out there and put a Herbie in, then I wouldn't begrudge you there. Cowboys, $1.65. Manly, $2.25. Cowboys haven't defeated Manly at home since 2016. This one's in Townsville. Not many opposition sides can have a record like that against the Cows. That's for sure. Manly, they've won 6 of their last 8 against the Cowboys as well. The Cowboys, though, have scored 110 points in their last 3 games at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. I reckon this one's going to be a high-scoring bucket footy shootout for Manly. Jason Saab, scored 5 tries in his last 5 games against the Cows. Didn't score last week, so you could argue he's due at $1.87. Tolu Kola, he scored 4 tries in his last 3 games. You can get $2.35 for him. He looked deadly last week. Also, keep an eye on Lehigh Hopewadi too to round out your Manly try scorers. The Cows, they've also conceded 60% of their tries to left side attacks. $2.10 for him to dot on the wing. That could be a bloody good bet. Cowboys winger Robert Darby, he's scored 5 tries in his last 3 games, $1.83. Jeremiah Nanai, he's scored 4 tries in his last 3, scored in the last 3 straight as well, $2.65 for him. Tommy Dearden, he's on a 2-game try scoring streak at $3.25. He's wearing the 7 this game, so be wary. Might not run the ball as much as he has in the past. And then Zachy Laybutt, a.k.a. the Bumchin. The kid can play. First game back from an ACL, $3.10. That's decent odds for him. My same game multi, though, I'm going Cows into Derby and Tolu Kola at $6.43. Sharkies, $2.35. Melbourne, $1.60. Sharks have won their past 3 straight against the Storm at Shark Park. But the Storm have won 7 of their last 9 against the Sharks. And I think Nico Hines, he's never bet Melbourne since moving from there, so that's something to factor in as well. Ronaldo Mulatalo, he scored 37 tries in 37 games at his home ground, scored a double last week, paying $1.98. And KL Iro, he's the other lock for the Sharks at the moment, scored in each of his last 5 straight games, $2.30. Aki's been saluting for the punters. For the Storm, Lil Pappy, 7 tries in his last 4 games. Of course, fresh off that freakish performance last week, bagged himself 4. He's probably due to not score, to be honest, because every time something like this happens, the person often goes to the next game, doesn't score once everyone's jumped on. But $1.78, if you think the little fella can keep it going, decent odds. My same gamer, though, I'm going to go the Storm. I reckon Harry Grant plays, so he gets them the dub into Paps and KL Iro at $6.10. Super Sunday, Broncos $1.30, Dragons $3.50. Dragons have won 7 of their last 9 against the Broncos, and the Broncos have been outscored 52 points to 8 in their last 3 second halves. So Dragons to win the second half is paying $3.05. That could be a bloody good bet. Katoni Staggs, he scored 7 tries in his last 5 against the Dragons, hasn't scored in his last 5 games either. So if you're keen to wrangle a Staggs, then this could be the week at 265. Jesse Arthurs, he scored 5 tries in his last 6 games at Suncorp, hasn't scored in his last 2 this year. $1.52 for him. And Ezra Mann back after carving up Queensland Cup, $2.45 to dot for the Dragons. Dylan Egan scored in his last 2 straight, paying $3.75. I like that bet. Also Gutho at $3.05 and Valentine's Day Holmes at $2.75. Your other picks for me. My same game multi, I'm going to go either team 1 to 12 just in case the Broncos have another bed shit in them. And then I'm going to go Stags and Egan, $18.35. Not bad at all. Raiders $1.33. Titans, they suck, $3.35. Raiders have won 10 of their last 11 against the Titans. Hudson Young, he scored 5 tries in his last 4 games against them as well. Dotted last week, $2.35 here, so chuck him in. Xavier Savage, 6 tries in his last 7 games at GIO KO Weeks. 3 tries in his last 3 games at $2.65. He's a good shout. And then I also like Zachy Hoskins, son of Mike. Scored last week when he moved to the edge. Of course, Nicholson, he's out for 12 weeks now, so he gets the start there this week. $3.40 for him. I like that. For the Titans, AJ Brimson, 7 tries in his last 7 games at $3.70. Philip Sammy, aka The Sandwich, 3 tries in his last 2 games, bagged a double last week. $2.25 for him. I don't mind that. AKP as well. You can get him for $2.20, which is massive odds for that bloke. My same game multi though, I'm going a 13 plus humping into a second rower special. Hoskins and Huddy. I'm going to call it a Triple H bet. A hump into Hoskins and Huddy, paying $10.90. Raiders 13 plus. I reckon they could put a cricket score on them. And then last game of the weekend, Tigers $1.90, Bunnies $1.90. The bookies can't split them. It's literally a fucking coin toss. The Tigers, they've only won 2 of their last 15 at Campbelltown. The Raiders have won 8 of their last 10 against the Tigers. So stats suggest Bunnies, but the Tigers, they'll be licking their wounds off the back of last week, and I expect them to get up for this one. Old shit Staines, Charlie Staines, he scored 5 tries in his last 5 games at Campbelltown. He's paying $2.05 here. AJ, he's back of course, 11 tries in his last 6 games against the Tigers. $1.88 for him is pretty big bickies. Tass, 2 tries in his last 2 games at $2.70, not bad. And then Saliva Harvey as well, started at 9 last week, crossed as well. $6.20 could be a nice little outsider. My same game up, either team 1 to 12 into Tass and Staines. Not my proudest bet, but it's one to really ride home the last game of the weekend. That screams the end of a punishing weekend on the punt, paying $8.12. Get it into your Super Rugby. I like the Canes to beat the Landers, and I reckon they 13 plus them too. Unfortunately for the Landers, I just think the season's really starting to take a toll now. For the Satyrs, I like them to beat the Tars. Tight clash though, probably lean the 1 to 12, or else just back them head to head at $1.35. I like the draw to beat the Force and Lau Toka at $1.42. That'll be a good one for some try scorers. I think the Blues will be just too good for Moana. Hopefully, I'd love to see Moana get up and pull off the upset, but I think the Blues just get them $1.25 favourites. Really not sure on the margin at that one. And then Brumbies $1.42, Reds $2.70. I reckon there's a little bit of value around the Reds here, of course. No Noah Lolosio, as we mentioned before. So the Brumbies lose their main game driver. They're a bloody clinical side that just will kill you with rolling mauls and bloody good discipline and structure. But Reds, at that bigger odds, you could play them on an alternative line, and I reckon that would be a pretty smart bet. So good luck on the punt this weekend. Remember to use the code SURLY as well. First, second, or third try scorer, money back in bonus cash up to $20 if your player doesn't score. Hopefully, though, she's green ticks on your bet slips, and you can finish the weekend with the old TAB account sitting pretty. Right, that's us for another pod. Hope you enjoyed the yarn with Navajo Stirling, and as always, cheers for your ears. Really appreciate it. Catch you back out, same time, same place next week, hopefully to reminisce on a famous winner. Wouldn't mind talking about a Moana upset if they were capable. An AFC win. We'll touch some more on some NBA playoffs as well as we start to take a deep dive into that one. Go well. Enjoy your grassroots sport if you're playing this weekend yourself. The Mighty Coat, we're taking on North Shore. They haven't lost a game in 2 years. Down in Devonport too. So odds are stacked against us. We go in as underdogs, but wouldn't have it any other way. Go the fucking Coat. I can sense an upset is brewing. But have a good weekend. Good luck on the punt if you're having a flutter. And I'll catch you back out next Thursday. Go well, Big Fizz.